All right, everybody, back with Dan. We just tried to showcase how to troubleshoot doing the manual override, but Dan, what if, our campers have no power? They try to go through the manual override process, there's nothing, there's no lights, there's no electricity. What then is the next course of action?
Sure. So, in the event that the electric manual override doesn't work and it's kind of a last ditch effort, they don't want to get stuck at the campground, or they just need to get to that service center. About 2 inches from the top of our column here, right down, we have this set screw. That set screw holds that motor in place. So what we can do when that room is fully extended, like we have in this situation, we can actually remove that set screw, and then if we peel back that white seal, we'll be able to pop that motor up. So that's a number 2 square, and like I said, just about 2 inches down. You're gonna have that bulb seal more than likely. Just peel that bulb seal back and you'll see that set screw, and that set screw is on either column, or if they have 3 different Schwintex on their system, it's going to be in the same relative position, that 2 inches down behind that bulb seal on each column, so this side or the opposing side.
Sounds good. So once we are able to identify those motors, they're always going to be in the same location, and obviously you can't speak on behalf of us or any other brand because the fascia size might be different, but on any slide out, as you guys have, just as Dan alluded to, you'll at least be able to find a consistent location of where your motors are going to be. So then what is our process to then manually get this slide back?
Absolutely. So first, we've got our drill. We're going to go ahead and back this set screw out. Okay. Once I can actually get in there. Once that set screw's backed out, we're going to want to maintain this. We don't want to lose this. Because once we get this room pushed all the way back in, if we can't get the motors back in, then we'll need to room lock, travel lock that room. Otherwise it can come out on its own. Okay. But that set screw, in the event you get it in for service, they're going to need that set screw. Otherwise, without that set screw in place, if you go to run this room with the wall switch, that motor can pop out, rotate on its own, and tear out some wiring.
So if you guys are doing this at a campsite, grab a magnet if you drop the screw.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, with the wiper seal exposed, I can go ahead and take my flathead screwdriver in there, and right underneath here there's your motor, and we can actually pry up on that motor, or you can come up towards the top here, and if you have access to one of the motor vents, and we can get a zoomed in shot here in a little bit to show that, we can actually pull up on that motor, pop that motor out of place so it's no longer in contact with the gear rack. Okay. And then, we're not going to be able to do it on our mock-up because it's on wheels and we'll just end up pushing this into the wall. Right. But then we could actually push on this side to run that side in.
Okay. And just for context, when they do this correctly and they do go to push it in, it is going to take a little bit of effort.
Absolutely. So they'll need at least one person per side to help overcome both sides of that system. With the motors out, now they're not trying to fight any of the resistance in the motors, but depending on the sheer size or just the general position of where that box is located on that unit, yeah, it might take a little bit more effort for one than the other.
And I don't want to make any assumptions, but when these are out, it is important that when you push the slide box back in, you do it evenly as opposed to just pitching on one side. So,
yeah.
To your point, depending on the size of your slide out, make sure you're pushing it back equal. Yes. In all directions.
Yeah, if they get it too far out of skew, then it'll jam up and then you're just in a worse position than you were starting off.
All right, guys, so we just demonstrated, Dan showed you guys how to pop this motor out, but we wanted to show you so you physically see. Now this is going to be done on the inside of that track, so it's going to be on the inside of this unit, but I wanted you to physically see what you're doing. You don't have to physically take this out, correct, Dan? They just, when you talk about popping it, when it's in its place, you're literally just want to get right here and enough to get it disengaged so there's no contact at the bottom.
Correct, Will. Yeah. Okay. They don't need to physically take the motor all the way out like we've done here, but like you're using it as an example, they can leave it in place behind this wiper seal here. So in the event that you've taken the motor out, and let's say it's in a coach where you can't get to the other column with the room fully retracted, or you can't get both motors in for whatever the situation is, the best thing to do is get the motors in because then those will act as sort of a lock themselves. Okay. But in the event you can't, a 2x4 or travel locks, they sell them at stores. You're just going to set that 2x4 up on top of this box. So you're going to go from the inside fascia to the outside side of that wall, that coach, and just set that 2x4 on top. And that's just gonna physically prevent that room from drifting out as you're going down the highway.
All right, Dan, so it's great to know that it's a real simple process. We're basically saying a 2x4 is on one end here, the other end there, so it can't physically overcome the 2x4, but I'm gonna recommend that you're gonna wanna secure that down somehow so it doesn't move through vibration and your travel.
Absolutely.